This is a video showing the process for pulling back the dash and replacing the recert door for the heater treater recert door replacement. The starting point we're going to get to, we will be moving the dash, and the airbag is behind the dash over here on this side. So we will want to disconnect the battery. For safety reasons, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide whether you want to do that or not. The first step we need is to get the car in the right configuration to disassemble. If you'll notice the gear shift, we need to put the gear shift in the neutral position, both the four-wheel drive and the gear shift. We will be lifting the console off. We also need to put the steering wheel into the full down position. It is adjustable. So the first thing you'll need to do is to block the wheels, pull the steering wheel all the way down, put the car into neutral, both four-wheel drive and the drive. You'll need to block the wheels to make sure the car doesn't roll away, and we'll begin. Okay, we have blocked the wheels and put the car into neutral. By now, you've discovered that you have to have the key on and the brake depressed to move the shift level. And once you do that, you can't take the key back out, and the car will sit and beep at you forever. So by now, you have probably disconnected the battery just to maintain your sanity. There are 4 or 6 Phillips head screws that we'll remove to take out the center console. You need to move the little covering on the key holding area. The cup holder has to come out and open the console door. Remove the console box, and there's additional screws below that need to be taken out. We now have the center console loose, 5 bolts inside the box and all of the screws that were visible. Now we need to remove the center panel area. First thing we're going to do is just pry out the bezels on both the top and bottom to get access behind that. We pried out the top and bottom bezels. You can see the wires coming into the different connectors. We're going to disconnect those. We'll pull out the center HVAC control module, and we'll go ahead and pull out the radio and disconnect all the wires to those. The next step is to remove the trim around it. That'll just pull off. We'll pull this piece, take this screw out to remove this piece, and the center piece here will just pry up. So let's go ahead and get that done. We've removed the bottom. Now we're going to take out the speedometer. It's got 4 screws, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Now we're going to remove the top screws for the dash panel. You've got 5 screws and 4 bolts. Be very careful that you don't damage the high dollar speakers that Chevrolet or that Chrysler put into the car. One of the screws we need to remove is kind of under the little light sensor thing here, so you'll need to loosen that to be able to get to the screw. Okay, we've got all of the screws out of the system. This is all loose. You'll note that it has a lot of catches kind of up on the top here where it all fits together. So the next step, we need to kind of wrangle this piece out, and it takes a little bit of work to kind of lift and pull at the same time. So let's try that. Okay, and you need to break this center one here. Okay, we've kind of got that pulled loose, and get it on both sides. You'll see we got a few wires, so we're going to disconnect those wires, and we'll remove this panel out of the car. Okay, we've removed all of the tape from the center wire harness. Note that heater treater does not give you 14 rolls of black cloth tape, so when you reassemble this, you're on your own. At this point, there is a metal bracket behind what you can see here. I can't get a picture of it, but if you look through the windshield from the front, you can see those screws. Those need to be removed, and that wire harness completely free from the dash panel. We've pulled all the wire off and taken off the back piece. You can see this is loose, and you want this to be able to slide up and down with no resistance. Those back screws are hard to get to. Note that the screw has both a bolt and a Phillips pattern to it, so a little tool like this one, a little ratchet, is actually pretty slick to get in behind it and take those screws out. They are hard to get to and they're a little blind. The next step, we're going to take out the main bolts and pull back the main panel. We've got bolts on either side of the console, and the real tricky part is over here. You've got two bolts here, and this is a strange little metal connection here. We'll talk a little more about that later. Okay, make sure you get this bolt down here on the bottom. On the top, this is actually a metal clasp that will kind of catch in there, and you have to kind of pry that thing out with a large screwdriver. And okay, there, we got it started, so that's where we want to be. Okay, we've got the metal clasp on the end undone, and you can see that now the whole panel is fairly loose, but it doesn't look like it's coming off. What it's got is inside, it's actually got a plastic slide-in clamp, and there's really no way to release that other than to force it apart. So we're going to attempt to give it a little more pressure than you would normally want to put on a dash, and we'll pull it apart. So here we go. I can get this from the top and get a good grip on the bottom under the glove box here. Okay, so we've got the plastic clip out now, and you see that we still see some resistance over on this side, and that is one more plastic loom screw. You can try to get to it, but it's almost impossible to see and almost impossible to remove. And generally the best way to do this is to just give it a little more force and break the plastic clip that holds the last piece of the wire loom in place. The plastic will break long before the wires do. So let's see if we can make that happen. Okay, the final step is to pull this dash back, and this one has already been loosened somewhat, but note that we've completely loosened the wiring harness, and this has been pulled back. Wedge it out at this point and actually break that plastic clip. So pull this back, and can you get around and show what we had to break on that side? Okay, so we broke that last little screw. If your hands are small enough, you could get in and remove it, but it's virtually impossible. So generally you have to just take and wedge until you break that. And now we've got the dash loose. We don't want to take it all the way out, but we want to be able to now access the reinsert box on the side there. So all of the work was to get to that point.